Chapter 13. Odin sat at the corner table, staring forlornly at his game board. Ralph and Ingvar had abandoned him because Irmgard was making crumb cake, little rolled cookies flavored with almond, lemon, and cardamom. They watched as she poured yellow batter onto an iron. The batter sank into the iron's groove, sizzling to a golden brown. The boys waited with anticipation as she lifted the soft cookie with a spatula, then rolled it around a metal cone. Irmgard's silence and her graceful, repetitive movements could lull anyone into a trance. The steam from the hot iron had turned her cheeks pink. One might think that grown men would have better things to do on a Wednesday afternoon, but Ingvar would say, "What's better than a beautiful woman and a plate of warm cookies?" "Katrina's got a boyfriend," Lars announced as we stepped inside. "What? No, I don't." "What's that?" My grandmother barreled across the room, wiping her hands on a dish towel. Her lower lip actually trembled. "A boyfriend? Who is he?" Her enthusiasm was embarrassing. "You'd think I had discovered a cure for cellulite or something." "No one. He's a foreigner," Lars said, unbuttoning his coat, "and he's not all there, if you know what I mean." My grandmother pursed her lips. "He's not Swedish, is he?" "He wears a skirt," Lars added, taking a seat across from Odin. Odin raised an eyebrow. "A skirt? You're dating a homosexual?" my grandmother asked. "He says he's not a fairy," Lars said. "What are you talking about? I'm not dating anyone." I dropped my backpack, then grabbed a crumb cake. "And Malcolm wears a kilt, not a skirt." "Lots of guys wear kilts. It has nothing to do with being gay." "She's right. Romans wore skirts," Ingvard said. "Romans didn't wear skirts. They wore tunics," Ralph said, crumbs falling from his mouth. "They wore skirts," Ingvar insisted, "with pleats." Ralph grabbed another cookie. "I'll tell you who wore a skirt. Mel Gibson wore one in that movie." "Yeah, well, he's an actor, and everyone knows that actors are fairies," Odin said. "The wisdom of the aged." I ate my cookie, then poured milk into a tall glass. The cookie helped me feel better after the whole world freezing episode. Maybe I'd just been tired. Or hormonal. "Where'd you get that cane?" Odin asked. "Found it," Lars said. Great, we were off the subject of boyfriends. My shoulders relaxed as I drank the milk. Why was it such a big deal whether or not I had a boyfriend? Of course, I wouldn't feel so defensive if I had personally chosen to be boyfriendless. Lars moved one of the playing pieces. "Katrina's boyfriend said he was imprisoned. That's what he said, that Katrina had imprisoned him." Everyone stopped eating and cooking and playing, and grinned at me. Goofy little grins as if I had just said my first word or taken my first step. My face felt like it was on fire. I bolted into the office, but Grandma Anna, despite her arthritic knees, stayed hot on my heels. "Is that what the boy said?" she asked, blinking excitedly. "Imprisoned?" "I don't know." I looked around for the order sheets, trying to seem busy. One of my jobs was to place the orders for food and supplies. An unruly pile of papers covered my grandmother's desk. Shoe boxes overflowing with receipts lay on the floor. The desk drawers sat open. What happened in here? She fiddled with some papers. "I'm trying to find the receipt for the television." "The new one?" She looked away. "I thought we could sell it on eBay. We don't really need it." My stomach clenched. She loved that new television because she could watch 2 shows at once. Had we reached the point of having to sell our belongings? Are things that bad? "We need a new dishwasher. It's a matter of necessity." "Don't get rid of the television," I said. "We could have a garage sale. I've got all that stuff in the upstairs closet." "We'll talk about it later." She turned her round face up at me, her eyebrows arched with hope. "Are you going to ask this boy to the Solstice Festival?" We were out of money and she was worried about my love life. Should I have been worried too? Does not having a boyfriend at 16 put you on the fast track to spinsterhood? Did this mean I would spend the rest of my life alone, childless, dried up? Aaron would start calling me Coffeehouse crone. "I'm not asking him to the Solstice Festival. I really don't know him." I picked up the bill from the power company. "Grandma, how much money do we need?" "That's none of your concern." She whisked the bill from my hand. "How did you meet this boy?" "He just showed up. He keeps following me." She nodded. "That's what they do. Believe me, once a man falls in love, he follows you everywhere. He sends flowers, he calls, he takes you out to dinner, to the movies. He embeds himself like a tick." She sighed. "So romantic." "Well, I don't want a tick." Her dazed expression faded and her down-to-earth, common-sense nature reappeared. Then you'll have to make that clear. If you don't love him, you don't love him. No good leading him on. Tell him that you appreciate his feelings, but you're just not interested. She patted my hand. Your time will come. She went back to the kitchen. I wouldn't have to tell Malcolm that I wasn't interested because he had left Nordby. He had wished me a long and healthy life. Even if he turned out to be sane, it didn't matter. He had gone. I picked up another bill, this one from Acme Supply Company, 30 days overdue. Another from Visa was also 30 days overdue. If only we could just throw them in the trash and be done with them like bad sardines. Goodbye, Katrina. Goodbye, Anna. Goodbye, Irmgard, the boys called, the front door closing behind them. Grandma, I went into the kitchen. Did you see the late fees on those bills? They add up to hundreds of dollars. She waved me away. Not now, Katrina. I'm not feeling well. I'm going to lie down. She gripped the handrail and slowly pulled herself up the stairs. Going to bed at 4:30 in the afternoon wouldn't solve our money problems, but sometimes crawling under the covers is the only thing a person can think to do. I started to wipe down the counters when Irmgard opened her purse and took out her wallet. She held out two $20 bills. Oh, thanks, Irmgard, but I'm sure things aren't that bad, I said. We'll work it out. She frowned and put the money on the counter. You know Grandma won't accept that. I picked up the bills and tucked them back in her purse. Irmgard didn't have money to give away. No customers meant no tips. I changed the radio station. Irmgard never seemed to mind. Getting lost in music always made cleanup go faster. As I hummed, the image of Malcolm with his eyes closed kept popping in my head. Did he know how perfect his face was? Did he know that even with those ragged clothes, he was gorgeous? Watching him stand there, I wanted to lean forward and kiss his lips. I didn't even know him, and I had wanted to kiss him. A sudden tap on my shoulder nearly gave me a heart attack. Irmgard stood next to me, her hat and coat on. Closing time already? I asked. She bit her lip and looked away, uncertain about something. What's wrong? I turned down the radio. She pulled a small book from her coat's pocket, one of those little gift books that you find at the cash register. A gold foiled title was Angels Among Us. She waved it at me. Is it for me? Irmgard had given me tons of gifts over the years, remembering every birthday and every holiday. On Easter, she always brought a basket of chocolate eggs. On Valentine's Day, she bought a bottle of drugstore perfume. She didn't have kids of her own, so I always figured I was sort of her surrogate kid. She pointed to the image on the cover, one of those religious paintings from the Middle Ages. The person in the painting was robed, with large wings on his back and a gold halo radiating from his head. I took the book. It's an angel, I said. She nodded eagerly, then motioned me towards the front door. She opened the door, then motioned again. We stood outside the shop, and Irmgard pointed up at the sidewalk. Then she pointed at her skirt. I was clueless. She tugged at her skirt. I don't get it, I said. We went through this all the time. It was a game called What is Irmgard Trying to Say? Vows of silence can be really annoying. Certainly they can create an aura of mystery and even reverence for any kind of vow takes dedication. But if you're going to be silent, you'd better develop a keen ability to play charades, or you'll drive everyone crazy. She pointed. Sidewalk skirt, sidewalk skirt. I still don't get it. She sighed, walked up the sidewalk, then stopped. She held out her hand, palm up, as if balancing something. She pointed to her hand, then to her skirt, then to the sidewalk, over and over and over. Oh, do you mean the guy who was standing here on the sidewalk holding the sample cup? The guy wearing the kilt? She nodded, then took the book and opened it to the first chapter. It was called The Messenger.